Just for a moment, let's talk about one thing. I don't know what this coming week will look like for you, or the one thing that you're most concerned about, or the one thing you're most excited about. But the Bible talks about one thing an awful lot. In the Old Testament, there's a book called the Psalms that most of you have read. And the psalmist says, one thing I desire, just to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord, to be in the presence of God all the days of my life. One thing, that's my heart. And then later on, in Scripture, Jesus talks about a man who says one thing is required of him. A man who's very, very wealthy, and he had his wealth more important than his walk with God. And Jesus says, you've done all these things, but one thing's required of you. Go sell everything else you have and go after me. The one thing has got to be Jesus. Later on, Jesus talks to some of his best friends, Mary and Martha, who are there at the house of Lazarus before Lazarus dies. And Jesus says, listen, Martha, Mary has chosen the one thing that's most important. So all of us this week are going to have a litany of things we have to get done. Places we have to be to, kids we have to run around with, make sure they're at the right sporting event, the right school, all those kind of things. But what's the one thing that you're going to do? Be like the psalmist. One thing, Lord, I've desired, to gaze upon your beauty, to know you as you are, to be in your presence. Don't let other things like the rich man did get in the way of the one thing. And then finally, if I can say this to you, you and I have to make a choice. I was reading today C.S. Lewis, who said, my reliance upon God, my dependence on God starts over every day. And I think it's a really good reminder to me and to you too as well. So the one thing this week I want you to concentrate on is the one thing, spending time with Jesus, his presence, his purpose for your life. Don't let other things crowd out that one thing. Don't let the clamor of the internet or the phones, you've got to deal with all the emails and stuff like that. Don't let that get in the way of the one thing that's most important, because the one thing Jesus said is necessary, to seek him. I'm praying that God in his grace would, as you are watching this video, would challenge something in your heart, would spur something new in your own life, but also say, God, I can do that. I can make you my one thing, not only this week, but for the rest of my life. It's my prayer for you. May the God of all hope fill you with hope, and may the one thing in your life that's most important just be Jesus.